U.S. and Russia have agreed on a ceasefire in parts of Syria. Now, ceasefires in Syria have not had the best of track records. Chief Washington correspondent James Rosen looks at the latest effort to end the deadly civil war.
Thank you. Of all that hangs on the handshake between Presidents Trump and Putin, nothing is more consequential than the Syrian civil war, now in its 7th year with more than 400,000 lives lost. Shored up by Russian airstrikes and Iranian-backed militias, the regime of Syrian dictator Bashar al-Assad has driven U.S.-backed rebels from much of the territory they once controlled, while a U.S.-led coalition force has gutted the self-proclaimed caliphate of the terror group ISIS. Jabhat Fatah al-Sham, the al-Qaeda offshoot formerly known as al-Nusra, remains a potent force.
International terrorism is the #1 enemy, and it is imperative to put everything aside to fight against it.
Yet virtually entire cities have been obliterated. 5 million Syrians have fled to neighboring countries, and more than 6 million still in the country have been forced from their homes. In Europe this week, President Trump called on the Kremlin to jettison Assad.
We urge Russia to cease its destabilizing activities and its support for hostile regimes, including Syria and Iran, and to instead join the community of responsible nations.
The State Department said the U.S. is open with Russian assistance to creating no-fly zones in Syria, part of a preview of the Trump-Putin dialogue offered Thursday by spokesperson Heather Nauert.
We believe that Russia has a special responsibility. They have unique leverage over the Syrian regime, and so we're going to continue to put pressure on them and ask them to do more.
Secretary of State Tillerson hailed the two presidents' agreement on a ceasefire zone in southwest Syria as the first indication that Washington and the Kremlin can work together in theater. But experts said they had seen this movie before.
The previous de-escalation zones that Russia claimed to have negotiated for different parts of Syria included one for southern Syria. But after Russia negotiated that de-escalation zone in southern Syria, we saw the largest escalation in Assad regime bombing in southern Syria for nearly 3 years. So Russia doesn't have the necessary leverage in Syria over Assad or over Iran to actually bring forward these agreements and make them genuinely durable.
The ceasefire deal that emerged from the Trump-Putin mini-summit marks an improvement in U.S.-Russian dealings over Syria under this administration, which has elsewhere asked how many babies must die in Syria before the Kremlin will shift course. Brett.
James Rosen in Washington. James, thank you.